Greetings ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs and I welcome you guys to another Fire Emblem character spotlight. Today we're taking a look at our very first substitute character, the sultry and beautiful dancer from Fire Emblem 4, Laylea. Laylea is an interesting character in that she is actually better than Leen, the character she substitutes, making her a more preferable choice. She is obtainable by not pairing Sylvia up with anyone in the first generation. The game never tells us much about Laylea's backstory, but she is revealed to be the lost sister of Sharlow, and since the two of them do not recognize each other when they eventually meet up in Sylvia's liberation army, it can be speculated that they got separated at a very young age. This is further strengthened by the fact that Sharlow is adopted by Hannibal, revealing that they were probably orphans, possibly even from Sigurd's war. Taking advantage of her beautiful looks, Laylea traveled around Jugdral to perform as a dancer. Her travels eventually brought her to the Yid Desert where she performed at Castle Darna. At the same time, the mercenary leader Jabaro and his sellswords were stationed at Darna, hired by Duke Bramsil to protect it against Sylvia's liberation army. In this mercenary group was Alice, son of Elchin, who had been traveling with the group since he was a child. During their stay at Darna, Alice caught eye of Laylea and was immediately smitten by her beauty. Being the beautiful girl that she was, Laylea caught the eye of Duke Bramsil, who after seeing her perform, wanted to get more intimate with the sultry dancer, something Laylea definitely did not approve of. When Bramsil tried taking her by force, Alice intervened, threatening to draw his weapon, the Mistletoe. Bramsil knew he had no chance against Alice, so he instead waited for Jabaro's mercenaries to leave. Once Alice was out of the picture, Bramsil captured Laylea and had her forcefully escorted to his room, where he no doubt had planned to rape her. Jabaro accidentally mentioned that this was going to happen to Alice when they were both outside, preparing for combats. Upon hearing this, Alice became enraged, questioning why Jabaro could let something like that happen. They had a falling out, and Alice turned on his commander, vowing that he would go back to Darna and rescue Laylea. Right before Bramsil was about to force himself upon Laylea, his castle was besieged by Sylvia's liberation army. He tossed Laylea in the dungeons and went outside to defend his castle, but was slain in combat. Alice, who had now joined up with the liberation army, entered Darna and freed Laylea from captivity. Grateful for her rescue, Laylea decided to join Sylvia's liberation army as well. Laylea would later meet her lost brother Sharlow in Tracia, and while they both had a conversation with each other, they were both oblivious to their sibling ties. Laylea is a young woman in her early 20s. She is perhaps arguably one of the most aesthetically beautiful characters of the second generation, which is probably why she possesses the charisma skill. She has an exotic oriental look befitting of a dancer, with long dark hair and brown eyes. She has a slim yet sultry physique with long legs, round hips and large breasts. Laylea's personality is that of a kind yet fiery young woman. She gets incredibly mad at Alice for leaving her, but instantly forgives him upon his return. She is shown to have some dislike of her career choice, as she mentions to Alice how she dislikes dancing for perverted old men, which is a rather peculiar attitude to have for a dancer. She does seem to enjoy the reaction she gets from people not accustomed to dancers, however, as she giggles upon leaving both Sylvia and Sharlow quite speechless when they first lay eyes on her. As a unit, we have to keep in mind that Laylea is a substitute character, and thus her base stats and growths are far lower than that of her original character Leen. Yet, Laylea possesses a skill that alone makes her a much more valuable unit, and that is Charisma, a skill Leen will never be able to obtain, regardless of her parents. Charisma will buff the hits and avoid of all friendly units within 3 squares by 10%, similar to a character having 2 leadership stars. This makes Laylea an excellent support character. Although her base stats are not particularly good, dancers are not meant to go anywhere near combat, so the only thing Laylea needs to be able to survive is the occasional stray attack directed at her. Strangely enough, her strength growth of 50% is among the highest of the substitutes of the second generation, which is a rather curious choice. The only stats that matter to her, however, are her hit points, speed, luck, defense, and resistance. All of them pretty subpar aside from her speed, which is decent. However, if you're playing normally, you probably won't get to see Laylea gain that many levels, as she only gets 10 points of experience per dance. However, if you really want to be cheesy and don't care about turn counts, you can potentially spend 250 turns just dancing to get her all the way up to level 30 immediately once you get her. Even at max level, however, Laylea will be lucky to survive more than a single hit on the battlefield, and will still be terrible in combat. Laylea's survivability is helped out a little bit by a secret event taking place in the same chapter she's recruited in. By visiting the village directly south of Leinster, the castle Leaf appears outside of at the start of chapter 7, Laylea obtains the Barrier Sword, which grants her +7 resistance when equipped. This sword can be given away to someone else, but Laylea probably makes the best use of it, as it makes it a little bit harder for her to get one-shotted by long-distance magic. Because of their love points starting at 300, pairing Laylea up with Alice is highly advised, as it is perhaps the quickest pairing in all of the second generation. It takes them a grand total of 16 turns waiting next to each other in order to finally fall in love, which is rather quick. The bonuses granted aren't that substantial considering there is no third generation in this game, but they will at least get a 10% bonus to hit and avoid whenever they're within 3 tiles of each other, as well as a 20% bonus to crit whenever they're standing adjacent to each other, which can be quite interesting considering it is added on top of Alice's already sky-high crit rates. Pairing them up also allows for Alice to be somewhat of a sugar daddy and give Laylea some much needed money, which she has difficulties getting on her own due to being unable to fight well in the arena. With this money, she can buy herself some useful rings to boost her utility, like the leg ring or possibly even the night ring if it was passed down from the first generation, giving her increased mobility on the battlefield. Make no mistake, however, aside from being a dancer, Laylea is a charisma bot, nothing more. Keep her on the front lines to buff her allies, but at the same time far away from danger, and she'll serve you quite well. Thank you for watching this Fire Emblem character spotlights. Let me know who you want featured in the next episode by telling me in the comments section. If you would be so kind as to give this video a like, that also helps out my channel a ton, and if you hit the subscribe button, you'll be automatically notified when the next video is released. At any rate, my name's been Mangs, and I'll see you guys next time.